Okay, and then let's go live over here on Instagram. I got my water. We are. All right. Are we live? We're live. We are live. Awesome. We're live. Hello, everybody. How are we doing on today's? Oh shit, the ball's going crazy. We got a new theme today. We got a new little theme that I've been kind of playing around with ideally, and started to come up with the concept of Fix It Wednesday. So every Wednesday we're gonna have a little interactive stream. I don't know. I got to see. I turned the camera into we're in a new space now, so we got a new setup, so I can move around, so you can see me maybe a little bit better, so that the lights hit me just a little bit better. So welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And so today in this live stream, I've started realizing that I want to be able to make this a little bit more interactive. So throughout the weeks, throughout the next, I would say couple live streams, I'm going to ask, and if you didn't already, vote in my stories or in the broadcast polls to essentially see what the hell's going on with ourselves, right? What's going on with our pain? What's going on with our issues? So I have no socks on, no shoes on, and I want to show you why it's important to start doing a lot of these exercises and a lot of these different things and these modalities barefoot without your shoes. Because a lot of times when people are talking about knee pain, you're talking about hip pain, you're talking about back pain, it all stems from the foundation. And a lot of times we always want to sit there and pick out a lot of these different pain points and go like, oh, my shoulder, oh, my back, all these different things. But we're realizing that it starts at your foundation, right? And a lot of times what we're always feeling is referred pain. If you've never heard of that term before, it's whenever there's actually an issue going on, say in your hip, but you're feeling it in your back, right? And you're like, oh, my back hurts, but really it's referred because of your pain. So a lot of times when I'm seeing clients, right, you're probably wondering, maybe if you're just following the channel, wondering who the hell is this guy? Why is he even helping me fix my pain? I'm an exercise physiologist. I've helped hundreds of people in the city of Pittsburgh and online just get themselves back in order, get themselves fixed, get themselves just into a place where they are not broken, right? I think as we get older, we're always dealing with some sort of ailments, but my goal is to get you to a place where you're proactive, not reactive to a lot of your pain. So I voted, I have all these different things, so you voted on what essentially issues you have going on right now. So a lot of you said that, you know, I may or may not have carpal tunnel. A lot of you mentioned that my knees, my back, my neck, and my, you know what the hell is going on. So what I want to show you real quick is a couple different things that we could do cognitively together to really get ourselves out of pain, get ourselves actually moving again. So you might be able to say, like, what are some of these things right here? So first things first, I want to show you this little modality here, a cheap tool that you could get on Amazon. And this is a slant board. A lot of you might be thinking, Nick, I'm about to break my damn neck if I get on this slant board. And essentially what this does is it helps you if you're dealing with any sort of problems in your knees, your hips, or your back. And so you have a couple different ways to get on here, right? So from here, as you can tell, I can't really go too far. A lot of my YouTube, you know, that my knees, my ankle's broken. So I want to show you this from the side, is that my ankle does not allow me to go any further than this, right? But if I switch sides, I can get down into a deeper squat. And so a lot of times when people are talking about issues in their ankles, issues in their hips, issues in their knee, devices like this allow you to get just a little bit more mobility, a little bit more flexibility out of the ankle, get some things going for yourself, because eventually it's up to you to fix your own problems, right? Not PT, not a doctor, you gotta fix your problems. So something like this has been helping me with my ankle. And the reason I wanna start with the ankle is because you gotta work it from the ground up. Like when it comes down to it, a lot of your issues are stemming from the ground up. So whether or not you're squatting, pushing your knees like this, whether you're not sinking your butt back, whether every time you lunge, you're lunging into a tightrope and wondering why your knees hurt, Or when you try to lunge, your heel isn't even up and you're sitting here doing this, right? So the problem with that is we need to figure out what the hell's causing your pain. That's why I'm doing these on Wednesdays. So one of the things that has been helping me out is this slant board. So I just wanted to give it its flowers. So how's everybody doing on YouTube? Teaching, thank you. What the hell is this? You know what I mean? I got you. But then a lot of people on Instagram too, we were able to vote. So let's just kind of get into what you guys were talking about beforehand. So a lot of times when we're dealing with knee pain, that was the whole reason we even came up with this concept, was I got a bunch of people yelling about knee pain. Now, there's a couple things that you could do when you start to essentially try to figure out what is going on. Is it a glute misfunction? Is it your quads? What the hell's going on? A lot of times you got to realize it's because of your squat. So when you're squatting, I know some of you because I've seen it, instead of your butt pushing back, you're doing this. Instead of your butt going like this, you're doing this. And then you wonder why your knees hurt whenever every time you go to bend down, every time you go to reach and get something, it's because you're pushing too much damn force onto your joints, onto your meniscus, and onto your patella. So this is one thing that we're gonna do together that's gonna help you get out of this. So first things first, I want you to grab your hips. Now, if you're following this on the replay, that's fine. Whenever you watch this, I want you to grab your hips. And I want you to think about spilling the soup forward with your hips and then bring it back to center. And I want you to think about spilling the soup back and bringing it back to center. And if this is difficult for you, it tells you that you need to start working on your hip hinge. And so that would be the first place you would start, right? If you're like, Nick, I got this. I can spill the soup forward. I can spill the soup backward. I can spill it to the damn side. Well, that's great. If you have that control, now I want you to still stay right there at that hip hinge and then push that butt back until you start to feel your quads. You start to feel your quads, now you know that this is a position you want to be in, and then that is what's going to help save a lot of pressure out of your knees. So, just a little recap is that make sure you're not doing this, and you're able to have the ability and the mobility to sink the butt back. I always say, it's like you're going on the shitter, right? Like, let's be real. It's like you're sitting back on the shitter. But that's how you're gonna fix your squat. And it's really that simple, and it's really, you just gotta really pay attention to it, essentially. So now that you're able to fix that, we work ourselves all the way up. And so once you work yourself all the way up, you start to think, all right, is my hip, do you lean into one side? Like when you're just bored, do you lean into one hip? Do you find yourself doing this? Do you stand a lot? And if so, this could be a lot of where your issues are coming from, right? Your SI joint. So now that we kind of have that idea of, okay, maybe it's how I squat, maybe it's how I stand, what about for all my people who are sitting all day long, right? So when you're sitting all day long and you're at a computer, this is what we're doing, right? So what ends up happening is we go, oh shit, my back hurts, and it's your lower back, but realizing that it's actually your upper back rounding like this. So from here, all my people who sit at a desk, is I want you to roll your shoulders back and lift the chest. Once you roll your shoulders back and lift the chest, you realize that now your core is engaged, and now you're setting your scapula down into a place where you're actually going to be able to utilize it. And so a lot of times people don't realize that your shoulders actually move up, down, protraction, retraction. So there's 4 different ways you got to move your shoulders. And a lot of times people say, well, I can't actually do that. I don't know, my shoulders are stiff, my neck's stiff, I got a headache, what the hell's going on? Well, you grab a band, right? You grab a band, and essentially what I want you to do is you grab and you make a diagonal. And once you make this diagonal, you pull it, right? And you bring it back down the center. And then you switch. And then you pull it. And you do this for, I would say, about 30 seconds. It's usually 15 reps. And the reason you want to do this is because now you're bringing one shoulder down and you're setting one shoulder up. right? So a lot of people who are suffering with shoulder pain, a lot of people who are suffering with neck pain realize that it's actually a shoulder issue. Your shoulders aren't actually working properly, right? So if we can get them to work a little bit better, like this, is all you need. These bands, right? This band is like $7. You get a whole set of these loop bands. So what I really want you doing is just doing these diagonal pulls. And so if you could do these diagonal pulls, like I said, maybe you're doing 30 seconds, you're doing alternating, but the idea is that you're feeling your shoulder blades actually start to work a little bit better. Once you're from there, once you get to there, you get your arms forward and then you squeeze the shoulder blades together, right? And I don't want to see this up into your, your traps all the way up into your ears. Again, roll your shoulders back, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulders, and you want to go ahead and now you're doing your protraction and your retraction. And so that makes a big difference because now you got your elevation and depression, which is your up and down, and then now you got your back and forth. And if you go to any PT for shoulders, neck, pain, whatever, this is what they're going to have you do. Actually, they might not even have you do this. They might just have you sit there and just raise the arm up, right? This is what's actually stuff that you could do at your house. Very cheap, very way to be proactive instead of reactive, and then you have to go to the hospital. So you do your diagonal stretches where you go from basically, I always say it's either 10 to 5 is like if you think of a clock, and then you do 30 seconds of your pull apart. Now if you do that, those are 2 exercises that are going to specifically elevate the shoulder and depress one shoulder. And then when you do it to the other side, same thing. And then when you do this, right, and you're trying to squeeze your shoulders, I say butt crack back, is that you want to make sure that your shoulders are squeezing together. That's whenever you start to actually get some function out of your back, out of your shoulders, and then you start to realize, shit, my neck doesn't hurt anymore. Maybe my traps don't hurt anymore. Holy smokes, my shoulders and my back are out of pain. So that's one of the things that you could do for your shoulders and all my shoulder people. So we covered the squat very briefly. We covered the shoulders, right? But a lot of times people don't realize that, well, Nick, yeah, I got my shoulders, but it's right here that hurts. And so you got to think, this is your deltoid, right? You got your tricep, you got your bicep, but you got your deltoid right here. And this actually connects into your bicep as well. So a lot of times when people are feeling like shoulder pain here, could also be a bicep issue. So one of the ways that you could really test this out on yourself is if you have one of these handle little cable things, resistance bands. I personally, this is one of my favorite exercises, one of my favorite stretches, one of my favorite workouts that you could possibly do for your shoulder, is that you grab just by one side and then you do the opposite, right? So I'm stepping onto the resistance band. I got the handle in my right hand, but then I switch and then I'm bringing it all the way out, like so. Now this is, maybe I shouldn't have done 2 bands. This was for my chest press, but yeah, you get the point. And so when you do this, you're actually targeting your medial deltoid and your bicep, and it gets them both at the same time so that you could actually start to strengthen this area rather than feeling like, damn, I don't know where my pain actually is. So there's a bunch of different things you could do, and these are very cheap, right? These resistance bands, I sit there and I encourage everybody, if you don't have it and you work out from home, get yourself a pair of these resistance bands. And again, I do have them on my Amazon store if you go and check the link in my bio. But, get yourself some resistance bands. You can get these anywhere, right? So if you're really trying to focus on your shoulders, get yourself a pair of cheap ass loop bands. Get yourself a pair and a pack of resistance bands. And guess what? You get yourself a stability ball. Now you got yourself a little home gym, right? Now you're starting a little home gym. And now you're getting somewhere. So now that we have that under control, where we're like, okay, so I can actually solve a lot of my issues with some of these bands, let me show you some of these tools that I really like to use, especially for myself. So, obviously a Theragun, right? Most people have some sort of massage gun, but instead of just drilling at yourself, right? You're just drilling at yourself like, oh shit, this feels good. do it with a purpose, right? So when you're doing this, the idea is to move the blood flow closer to your heart. So when you're using a massage gun, you want to move the blood flow closer to your heart so you can get all that stuff out, right? And that's one of the main things that you really want to figure out on yourself, is that you're like, well, Nick, I can't get my shoulders and I can't get my back and I can't get some of the parts that actually hurt with this damn thing. And I totally get that. And that is why they have foam rollers, or you have things like, now you're going to be like, Nick, what the hell is this? Things like this ball, right? Like this little ball right here. You're probably thinking like, I am not going to sit on that at all, or bring that into your side, or bring that into your hip. But it does release, because again, what is it? You're just looking for some sort of PNF, peripheral neural facilitation. I don't know where the hell my foam roller is, but I would also say and suggest a foam roller, right? If you're dealing with any issues and any back and any strain, a foam roller, a resistance band, stability ball, things that can actually solve your problems rather than more or less create more problems, I think is the better goal. Because I think when it all comes down to it, you know, I got all the props now, is that if we want to build this muscle, right? If we want to build muscle, we have to burn some of this fat. And so if we want to build muscle, we have to burn fat. And so when we think about that, and you're running while you're in pain, and you're wondering, well, damn, Nick, my back hurts, I got carpal tunnel, my knees crack every time I do a damn squat, what the hell's going on? It's because you're focusing too much on this. You're focusing too much on burning this rather than building this, right? And so this is why you get yourself some resistance bands, you get yourself some of this stuff. And that's honestly why I encourage you to sign up for the 14-day challenge that we're starting on September 1st. So on my YouTube, people on YouTube, go to my Instagram and you can sign up for the 14-day free challenge. You're going to be able to get a $250 gift basket if you are the winner. You get access to my app where all your workouts and all the good stuff are going to be. But essentially, that's why I want to do these. That's why I do these challenges, is to show you that you have the ability to do a lot of the stuff yourself with these damn bands. So now that we got that under control, I want to show you some things that if you don't have any equipment, Nick, I don't have any equipment, what the hell can I do? Well, the reason that I switched our position here to the Healthy Yinzer wall, I'm calling it the Healthy Yinzer wall because I got my banner that I used to do a lot of my, when I was cooking, this was the banner that would be flying around right in front of us. So I'd do all my cooking events. That was the banner that I would have, yeah. And so we kind of kept it. It's still pretty nice. It's a vinyl banner. Spend way too much money, but whatever. But the Healthy Yinzer wall, when we're here, I want you to think, Nick, I got a bunch of people who voted and said, look, I may or may not have carpal tunnel, right? And so what is carpal tunnel, right? You think of your wrist, your nerves, you have a little tunnel here, and then that starts to get closed. So what can we do? Is there anything we can do? There is, and that's why we're right here against the wall. So if I'm standing on the wall by my side, right shoulder against the wall, I want you to bring your hand with your fingertips facing 12 o'clock, right? And so if you're doing this with me, I'll give you some time. If you're just like watching, you're wondering what the fuck am I doing, whatever. But I'll give you some time. So have your hand, fingertips facing up to the wall. Once you're here, I want you to rotate that back shoulder, or your opposite shoulder, back. And when you feel the stretch right here, let me see if you can see, right here in your bicep, right here in that shoulder area that I was talking to you about, I want you to hold that for 10 seconds, and then you come back to center. And the best thing is you do that same thing, but now instead of your hands going to 12 o'clock, you do it to 3 o'clock. And essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna start to stretch your digitorum, you're gonna start to stretch your chest, you're gonna start to stretch all of these different muscles that have been yelling at you, causing your wrist pain, and maybe a lot of your arm pain. And so you find these different stretches right here with the arm, and then your last one, so you go from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then the last one, you put your hand down at 6 o'clock. And this one's always the worst because you really feel it right there in your forearm. And you do the same thing. You just roll that shoulder back and find that stretch right there in your arm. And you'd be surprised on the different areas that you feel this stretch. I mean, it is one of the best arm stretches that you could possibly do. And if you're always typing or if you're always writing, it's a very good stretch. So we'll do that same thing on the other side so you have a better idea. Just tried it. So much cracking, Jenny. Okay, yep, love it, love it. Now, did you do it from each side? So when you do it, Jenny, it's important that it's the right hand that goes to 12, to 3, to 6, right? Because if you try to do that with the left hand, I don't know, your wrist, and you end up snapping your arm. So maybe, let's not break an arm today, please. So yeah, so let's try it on the left side. So if you're on the left side, you would do left side, you'd still go to 12. So you would still start at 12, and you rotate that shoulder back, and you feel, not only a spine crack, but a nice shoulder stretch. And then, if you're on the left hand, again, left hand goes 12, 9, and then 6. So we're at 12. Roll that shoulder back. Remember, it's this shoulder. And if you see, I'm here. Hold that for 10 seconds. Same thing. Now you do that at 9 o'clock. And essentially, you're getting that stretch throughout your whole forearm, your whole bicep, your shoulder, and you just feel like $1,000,000. Because when you're done with it, you're like, holy hell. You know what? I feel great. So now that we have kind of worked ourselves all the way up from the ankles to the shoulders to the knees to the hips to the back, kind of did a little brief discussion on a little bit of everything. But the last thing is the neck that I want to talk about before I take all of your time today. And again, we're going to be doing this every Wednesday. It's going to be more of an interactive stream. So if you ever want to on Instagram, I think we can't do it on YouTube, but on Instagram, I can bring you into the video and we can actually talk and I can actually see it in real time and we can work with it. So, it's kind of a way for me to interact with the audience and interact with the community and kind of give you guys some real-time feedback. So be on the lookout for that. If anybody wants to jump in on the live stream and essentially want to get their, Nick, what the hell, my back hurts, and then maybe we can figure it out together. So, or if you're feeling afraid, I can get some of my clients on here and then have us go through it and see if how they do. But that's going to be coming up here in the future because we go in live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So I know a lot of people have been, what is it? Hair is unhealthy. Hair is unhealthy. Why is hair unhealthy? Hurry. Interesting. So we'll be able to do a lot of that stuff kind of going further because we will be doing live streams on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it makes it a little bit easier for you and it gives me a chance to connect a little bit more with the audience because I know you guys give me a bunch of messages about, Nick, I'm in pain, my knees, what can I do for my back, so this kind of gives you a chance to actually do it in real time if you're not scared to jump online with, a bunch of people. I know we just hit the 80,000 mark, which is kind of crazy on Instagram, so awesome. So thank you everybody for following and being part of the community. We almost got 2,000 we're working on YouTube. What are you saying over there in the comments? I can't see it because it goes away, so you have to say it one more time. But essentially, I'm going to talk about the neck, right? So let's talk about the neck here. So a lot of times when you are at the computer, again, we're going to go back to my computer desk thing, must do this for sure. You sit there and you have your neck like this and you're always facing down, right? And so a lot of times when people think about neck pain, it's because your gaze is facing down. A lot of people don't realize that. It's because your neck is actually supposed to be a C curve, right? Or an S curve, but you end up becoming a C curve. So what ends up happening is we're focusing, pointing down, and so we'll end up actually perpetuating the next, basically we're perpetuating the same old sequence of just what I call shrimp back. So how can we fix this? Well, it all starts at your desk, right? So if you're at your desk and you're looking at it right now, or maybe you're just watching me wherever you're at seating, do you look down at your computer or do you look up at your computer, or is it neutral right there in front of you? Now, if it's neutral right there in front of you, that's where we want it to be, right? We want it to be neutral right in front of us. So when we're typing, it's right here. We don't want to be looking up. We don't want to be looking down. And if you find that your chair is sinking too far down and you're doing this, now it's time to really start to figure out what is going to be best and beneficial for you. So, what is best and beneficial? So if you are somebody who has to work 8 hours on a desk, research has shown that you should do roughly 40 to 45 minutes in one position and then 15 in the other, right? So you basically just switch from standing to sitting. So you don't just stand all day and do your work, because what ends up happening, like we talked about before, you end up leaning into one side, you end up causing pain here, referred pain up here, or you get into the treadmill and then you realize that you don't want to do that anymore. So what research has shown is that if you're able to get yourself into 45 minutes standing, 15 minutes sitting, and just kind of go through that throughout the hour, you actually will save yourself from having to adjust your desk and do all these different ergonomics things, because essentially what you're doing is you're here and then you come up, and so you're always fixing your spine, and so it's never just kind of fixated in one spot. So if you're somebody who gets headaches, dry eyes, blurry vision, etc., 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 maybe try that. 45 minutes standing, 15 minutes on in your chair. And really when it comes down to it is get a damn chair. Get a new one. Spend an extra couple dollars for a new chair and see how much better you feel. Right? I think then the same thing can be said with your shoes. When was the last time you got some new shoes? Get some new shoes. You don't realize that, these things are what we're in almost every single day. Right? And I know a lot of people are cheap and they won't say, well, I'm not going to go and spend $300 in a chair, but then you sit 12 hours in a chair all day long, right? So what sense does that make, right? That doesn't make any sense. So get yourself a new chair, get yourself some new shoes, and I bet you get yourself back into a position where you want to be in. So essentially, that's kind of how we're going to be doing a lot of these. Tell my husband, he said to go get new shoes. Tell him to go get new shoes, right? If he's sitting there with those New Balance on that are sitting there fading away, and then you look in the back and he has no tread on the back of his shoes, tell him, right? Tell him. Now, I'll tell you what. People, and this might be a controversial take here, is that a lot of times with people with shoes, you don't realize that shoes are actually just casts for your feet, right? Like when you think about it, right? And this is somebody who had to be in a cast for 16 weeks. I watched my calf and I watched my foot and I watched all the muscles of my ankle and my foot just slowly deteriorate. And the reason why is because I couldn't move my foot, right? And so if you think about what a shoe is, it's basically a cast for your foot whenever you're going out in public. So having this, you want to be able to do a lot of stuff barefoot, right? So you can actually start to grip and get your big toes together. That's why a lot of the times whenever I'm doing exercise, right, I'm doing it barefoot. Obviously, I don't want to sit there and squash my toe with any of these weights or anything, and maybe that's something you should look into as well, is that the reason you do that is so you actually grip. Now, I come from working in restaurants, right? I was a sous chef, I was a pizza cook, I was a dishwasher. I did every damn job at the restaurant. Now, for me, I had to wear those flat feet, those non-slip shoes, right? I know a lot of people know about them damn non-slip shoes. They're not comfortable. But what ends up happening is you lose your arch for your foot. You have no more arches left in your foot. So what ends up happening is you have flat feet. Flat feet, you have no arch, so you have no support, right? So then everything is just either in your back or it's in your knees, or then you're just feeling like shit, right? Let's just be real. So I've switched, I've partnered with OOFOS. This isn't a sell for them, but this helped me is that you could see that they have, some sort of foam technology that allows you. Vans, so uncomfortable. Oh my God, Vans are the fucking worst, right? Vans suck. Vans do not work at all. And honestly, not only is it Vans that really suck, but it's just that the material, there's no structure to them, right? Like Vans are just horrible shoes for you, but I don't know, people like them. You need, as I've gotten older, right? I'm 34 now. I need shoes with support. right? I need shoes with cushion. I need shoes with something. But then you also got to realize that the the point when you look for shoes isn't for the maximum support, right? Because when we think about what we just talked about your foot being in a cast all the time, you know, you don't want to rely on the foot, right? It's just like when your brain relies on your cell phone for everybody's phone number. You start to forget everybody's phone number. So if you start wearing shoes all day long, you know, and you're always in shoes, your foot starts to forget exactly how to grip the ground. I mean, it's just how it is. And I saw that happen to me, 110% because of whenever my ankle broke. So it wasn't until I switched my shoes that actually allowed me to grip the ground a little bit more that my foot started feeling better. And so I encourage you to figure out a shoe that works best for you. Like this right here, I don't know if you can see these, but these are Brooks sneakers are great. Yep. These are OOFOS. So these are the shoes that I wear, and I partnered with this company because they have this like proprietary foam that they say is like absorbs 37% more impact than traditional footwear. So for me in my ankle, I was like, let me get this, right? Let me start getting this. And it helped. Like I got resolved. I felt really, I would say it was probably relief within the first hour of wearing them. Like if I'm being real with them. So that's whenever I was like, hey, can we partner? And they're like, yes, we should. And so I have most of my clients that I see in person buy those shoes, and they say, you know what, Nick, these really help. Hello down there, how we doing? Cozy, how we doing? Mr. Derer, I don't know how to really pronounce that, how we doing? But yeah, I think what it comes down to it is really figuring out what is your issue, right? And figuring out how can you make and plan. I said hello. I said how you doing? Cozy. I didn't say hello to you. But it's figuring out what is your plan, and is there a plan? Is there a way? And is it going to be better to be proactive or reactive, right? Let's be real. So we talked about a lot of how to fix your squat, how to get into a different lunge position, how to do some shoulder stuff. Darian, how we doing? And it's just like, I think the little things that you could do are what's going to be able to help you in the long run, right? Here's my foam roller, right? Like something like this, like a foam roller. I don't know if people have a lot of, like this is again, a little tool. I know a lot of people, let me know in the chat. Do you have a love-hate relationship with these things? Let me know. The foam roller. I know a lot of people hate them. But let's just talk about this one last time. Is that if you can get used to this foam roller, and I'm talking not just like on your back, I'm talking IT band. I don't know if you can see me down here. Yep. So if we can get down on this IT band, get into that glute medius, this solves the majority of your hip and glute pain. That's if you can withstand getting yourself into this position, right? Now, I know for me, whenever I first started using a foam roller, I did not want to get on this thing to save my life. Maybe I should do some more videos about this. I don't know. What do you think? But giving you some relief, this little tool right here has gotten me more relief than I think any chiropractor, any PT has ever. How wide is the foam roller? You can see right here, right? So they make them all different kinds. Lumineer is like, this one's really squishy. Like, so this is one that I like to use. This is just all foam. I have another one that has a PVC pipe in the middle of it, which makes it a lot more sturdier. Cotton Jetty, you love your foam roller? Oh shit, I know. See, it's a love-hate relationship. I have some of my clients who say, Nick, I absolutely do not want to be on that foam roller at all. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna. But then there's things that there's so many things that you could do with this. And so it's a very cheap piece of equipment that I think is very beneficial. And lastly, I want to talk about the yoga block. This yoga block, if you don't have a yoga block, right, I would say maybe two. If you don't have a yoga block, actually, we're going to be giving out some of these in our future gift baskets throughout the next couple months going into the holiday months. We're going to be doing a lot of these fitness gift baskets for giveaways, so you're going to have a chance to get bands, yoga blocks, a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm trying to work with a bunch of different companies to give you guys some stuff. But I want to talk about the yoga blocks. But now that I got myself talking about giveaways, let's talk about the 80K giveaway. Cinderella, how we doing? So the 80K giveaway, I had you vote on a yoga mat. And would you believe it's here? So you guys voted on the one yoga mat and we got it. So we have we got yoga mats to give away. All right, and these are $80 yoga mats from Yoon Yoga, right? These are impossibly grippy yoga mats. And so we're going to be giving these away here. I think we're going to stay tuned. I don't know if I'm going to do it on Saturday, or maybe we do it on Sunday's yoga class. So making sure that you stay tuned to that, because that would only make sense. You give away some of these yoga mats to everybody who tunes in to the yoga stream. So we have many of these we're going to be giving away, so stay tuned. Yoon has become they want to become a partner and want to give back some yoga mats to the community for our Sunday yoga classes. So I think that's going to be a fun, and honestly, you can't beat that. Free yoga mats are free yoga mats. So we will be doing that here in the next couple days because we reached 80,000 followers. So pretty cool. So we're going to try to work with a bunch of these different companies to hopefully give you guys some cool shit, right? That's what it's all about. I want to see what type of companies want to give back the community some stuff, right? So they know what I'm doing. They see what I'm doing. I'm coming over here. I'm trying to help. But maybe they can help by giving you guys some free shit too, right? Instead of having me spend all my money, not that I give a shit, but giving you guys back some of the stuff. So we got some free yoga mats coming your way. Actually, we do have a Revo sent us some cuppers. So I don't know if you've ever experienced like a cupping. You know, I don't know if remember Michael Phelps during the Olympics when everybody was watching him, he was all cupped up with all those little bruises and shit. Well, this is essentially a smart cupping device. So you just turn it on right here, and it's just, you know, boom, brings it all, sucks it up, suction. So I don't know, maybe if I should do this or not. Oh shit, okay, it's starting to, all right, no, I wasn't trying to get this thing off of me. What the hell? Get this thing off of me. It's already good. I wasn't trying to have it go off, but my foam roller is 6 inches wide. Excited for the yoga class? Thanks, bud. Cinderella? Oh, yeah. Make sure you show up to the... Damn, that actually, I wasn't expecting that to start pulling on me that much, but holy shit. Yeah, well, at least you know that works. So, yeah, and they gave us... I don't know what the hell this is. This is some weird device that I guess you can sit there and... I don't know. But, yeah, they give us all these weird devices, and I guess that's what we're doing now. Hello, Mr. Ivy League. Benji Mouse, how we doing today? How's life treating you? So that's some of the things that these companies are, too wide, I would say. I mean, this one, if you think about it, that's about 6 inches. You went to Penn, right? I went to Pitt. So I went to Pitt, not Ivy League. So that's what you're saying. Penn. No, we didn't go to Penn. We didn't do the Penn. We went to University of Pittsburgh, exercise physiology. So, yeah, this one's like six inches though. It's actually like 5, right? Benji, where did you go? Just taking a 2-minute breather in clinic. How we doing? So we're just showing you how to get out of pain, getting you into some simple stretches. You know, you're in my Ivy League. You know what, Benji? I appreciate that. You know, I always like to say this. You mix a college education with the School of Hard Knocks, and then you get an Ivy League, mindset, right? That's the way I look at it. So, one of the things I want you to do is I was talking about the yoga blocks, right? So if we got to, I'm still going. You're still going. Damn, you're still going. Holy shit. All right. Well, there's still time for you, right? But with the yoga block, I want you to actually start to use this as a base. So when you do your squats, you can actually have your heels elevated. So when you squat, I want you keeping it narrow, focusing on the front of your knees. And so I'll always be going, ain't that the truth? I know that feeling. But a lot of people, you're talking about your knee pain, right? You're talking about knee pain, you're talking about squats. Even thinking of the word squat gives you knee pain, right? Actually, that's a good hook for a video. I'm gonna have to do that. So, actually, that is gonna be one of my new videos. So if just thinking of a squat gives you knee pain, try this, right? So you're gonna get, there's my hook right there. There's my content creation mindset. So if you're feeling, now I'm getting all tongue twisted. Yeah. So that's a good hook. But essentially, it's gonna be this. So you use your yoga block, and you have your heels elevated, and you inhale down and you exhale up. You inhale down, you exhale up. Why? Because if you have a yoga block, it's just like having the slant board. Look. Because it's the same thing, right? And so what this does, it's like, oh cool, Nick, that looks like a squat that I'm pushing my knees out. You're working your VMO. And your VMO, one thing to keep in mind, is that when we think about knee support, your VMO keeps your knee tracked here, and your anterior tibialis keeps your knee tracked here, right? So if you're really feeling like your knees hurt, this is always a good place to start. Working on your VMOs and your tibialis, and from there you actually start to build a nice structure and bulletproof your knees. So something that you could do, especially with a yoga block if you don't have the slant board, but there's so many different things, right? I have a video too where you're using it as balance, using it as an elevation. So there's so many different things that you could be doing with your yoga block to get yourself out of pain. And I think it's really up to you to figure out, do you want to essentially bitch about your problems, or do you want to do something about it? So that's why I'm going to save this, and you can always resort back to it on our YouTube channel or on the Instagram. And so if you're figuring that like, damn, I do need to fix my shit, or maybe there is some things in here that I could get out of and start doing, that's why I'm going to save it. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing these interactive streams. Today is more or less just kind of like a broad subject, but going through the next couple weeks, or starting from September, going all the way into December, we'll see how it goes, will be on specific body parts, right? So hips, turn it on your glutes. So, we've been talking about dead ass syndrome, dead butt syndrome. That was one of my latest videos. So we could talk about that. Talking about drop ass is pretty much what it is. Diaper ass, whatever name you want to give it. But we're going to be doing a lot of different interactive streams so that you can actually start to proactively fix your shit and get yourself into a position where you're no longer in pain, and so that you could show up to the Sunday morning yoga classes in a good position. So I can sit here and ramble on about this shit all day, all long. How's everybody doing? I'll answer any questions if anybody has any questions. How we doing over here on YouTube? So if you see me looking up, that's because Instagram's up here, YouTube's down here. Yeah, we're going live everywhere, right? And that's the thing. Now that we've gotten 80,000 followers on Instagram, I always told myself if I ever had 10,000 followers on any platform, I would go into content creation full time. We got 80,000. So I want to be, that means to me, that's 80,000 people that I could potentially help. And it's my obligation to do that. We got 2,000 on YouTube, 80 on Instagram. So it's time to take this a lot more serious. And so that's why I want to make sure that every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you know what the hell you're getting into. Every Sunday, we're doing yoga at 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Every Monday, we're talking about your mindset. Every Wednesday, we're doing shit like this. Every Friday, we're working on food. And so if you could just do that and follow along, you will be able to get yourself into a position where you're no longer in pain. You're working on transforming your health, your mindset, and your body all at the same time. And then if you're like, shit, well, Nick, I want to work with you as a coach. Well, then, because my free shit's like this, if you get into the, the program, you're going to see some really good results. So something that I want to keep it real with you guys, because to be honest, I had no idea that we would even grow this many people. So I appreciate everybody who tunes into the live streams and continues to watch, because what it comes down to is it's all for you guys, right? It's all for the community. So whatever I can do to help and give back,
because in reality, I got into this industry because of my lower back issues. And I got hurt at the restaurant, and if it wasn't for the free content that was out there on YouTube, I would probably still be in pain. And so the thing is like, whenever it comes down to that, is that it's my obligation to always continue that trend of giving back free content as much as I possibly can, because it helped me. And so I know it can help you. And so that's why I give you the opportunity. And sometimes all we need in life is just an opportunity. So sorry if you said this and missed it. Do you have a favorite brand of resistance bands? Honestly, no. I'd go for the cheapest ones, to be honest. If it's $6, there's a $6 pack right now on my Amazon store. And that's one thing too. I'm gonna start continually update the Amazon store. So if you're ever looking for exercise equipment, always just go to my page. Yes, we do get affiliate links if you click something and buy something. I don't know, we get like some pennies on the dollar or something like that. But I at least want to show you different products that I recommend. And so Jenny, if you go to the Amazon store, you'll see a bunch of stuff that I recommend on there. So go shopping, essentially. Just put them in your cart. I don't know how long, and yeah, but yeah. What do we say down here? I didn't even see you. Top chat, live chat. Oh, it's not. That's why, because it says top chat, not the Eat, Train, Recover. You like that, Gomez? Thank you. Jesus loves to keep doing good. I appreciate that. Yep, we were gonna try. Eat, Train, Recover, right? And I think that's what it all comes down to, right? I think is like, you gotta eat well, you gotta train, and you gotta learn how to recover. And when it comes down to like, well, what does that even mean, right? Recovery. Recovery is what we just talked about, right? Is doing the simple things, the stretches, the banded work, the tolls, this type of shit where it's like the Theraguns, the yoga blocks, this stuff. As we get older, recovery is going to be one of the most important aspects of your life. And I'll tell you what's the most beneficial recovery tool that you can use? It's cheap. It's actually free. It's called sleep. Yeah, sleep. If you want to actually get better and you want to recover better, go to sleep earlier and wake up at the same time every day. It's magic. And that's honestly, I was just talking to a couple of my clients. Let me sit down here. So a couple of my clients are doctors. So I have a couple of clients that are doctors, plastic surgeons, well known in the Pittsburgh area. I don't want to just start name dropping, but they're doctors. And one of the things that we were talking about is how sleep is becoming like this new trend, so to speak. It's like this new trend, sleep, all these sleep studies. And the thing is it's because it's true, right? Sleep is a very low cost way for you to improve your health. If you could just go to sleep a little bit earlier and wake up at the same time every day for the next week, you would see a night and day difference in your energy, your recovery. Maybe you'll start losing a couple pounds for a change. Like, you'll be surprised on what sleep can do for you. Maybe that's something that we could talk about too, is how to optimize your sleep and how to optimize, and again, I'm no doctor, right? I work with doctors, I help doctors out, so I get a lot of research, we get a lot of feedback working with each other as colleagues, essentially. But a lot of times it's like, she's looking to me and saying, Nick, what can I do for some of my patients, right? And I'm giving her exercises and requirements and, just talking about things, because I think what it comes down to it is you got to look at yourself individually and do the things that you can do at your house, right? We're getting to a point now where the information isn't the problem. The information, you got people like myself who are going live, you got people who are making a lot of good content, like the information isn't the issue, right? Like, I think when we realize what the issue is that we're not actually paying attention to the things that we can do. And if we could just go ahead, Benji, what you say, sleep when you can, eat when you can, and never fuck with the pancreas. See? Like, never fuck with the pancreas, right? Like, let's be real, because you start messing with the pancreas, your blood sugar is going to be all over the place, right? And that's your insulin levels, all that stuff. You don't want to be messing around with the pancreas. That is for sure. That's words to live by. But you got to sleep when you can, right? And the thing is like, if you could get your sleep in a what is it, circadian rhythm, because we got to realize that the body always wants to come back to homeostasis. You realize that you have to not fight it, but work with it, right? You have to work with your body. If it knows that it always wants to balance itself out, you got to figure out where the hell do you need to balance yourself. Consider me a legitimate source of info, Benji. I appreciate that. I try to help out as much as I can, and I try to just put my personality and put my spin onto it so that people can, it's one thing for me to say eat healthy and drink water. Nobody wants to hear that shit. I got to come in here and throw my arms around and throw little silicone fat things and wave them in the camera, wave them in the air like you just don't care, right? Because that's what I got to get your attention and then get you into the live stream so I can start to teach a little bit, right? That's the goal. So, but I do appreciate that. And honestly, it's the community. If you guys didn't show up and you guys weren't giving me the messages, the comments, all that stuff, I'd be bored. I'd be just pulling information out of thin air and being like, okay, you guys might need this. You guys might need help here. But you guys keep it interesting. And honestly, it's the reason why I do it, right? Show up for you guys. You show up for me. It's a symbiotic relationship. And so that's all I can do. That's all I can ask for. So by all means, if you guys ever want to get into the training platform, you guys ever want to get into learning how I actually work with my clients, we are doing a free 14-day challenge, right? You get into the app that I have with my clients who are paying me hundreds of dollars and getting results and seeing all the fun stuff. But you have a chance to do it. So if you want to get into the challenge, you have a chance to win a $250 gift basket, right? InfoWars 2, right? Oh, InfoWars 2.0. Ain't that something? Wouldn't that be a real thing? I mean, I don't want to get into there, but he was right about a lot of stuff, but he was wrong about a lot of stuff too. But I think a lot of us are, right? And that's how you have to, the free world, right? Is that you really have to go in there and figure out what is the information. Because again, like we talked about, the information isn't the issue. There's all the information's out there. It's up to you to decide, all right, this is the information, this is kind of far-fetched, this is full of shit, this makes sense, and then you make your own ideas of who you get your information from, right? So it's always, you got to figure out who and where and get it in the entire free world. Ain't that the truth? So I always find, don't just sit there and listen to an echo chamber. Get yourself a broad source of information, because then after a while you start to realize, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And it's funny whenever I hear from my clients, again, some of them who are doctors, they're like, Nick, I was reading in the New York Times that it said that, you should really get your heart rate up to a zone 1, zone 2 before you really start exercise. And then I realized that that's all the shit that we do. And I'm like, yes, that is exactly what we do. That's, we warm the body up and then we exercise it and then we cool down. And they said, yeah, that's what they were reading. Okay, So the thing is just know that I'm always looking out for you. And yes, I want to make sure that we can give you some trusted sources of information. That's why I want to start doing these interactive live streams where I can bring people in, right, and have a conversation, right, like Benji, like you're saying, right, is getting in here with some educated minds and saying, this is what you're seeing, this is what I'm seeing, and maybe I get some of my clients in here to say, hey, this guy isn't just making videos and making live streams, he's actually helping me and a lot of people, right? No, I don't always share a lot of on my feed, a lot of the clients' wins and what they're doing, and because I do it on my stories, but a lot of the times it's just private, right? It's just people pay me for help, and so that's why I like to give the 14-day and the 6-week challenges out as a way for me to help out the community. So keep it up, Benji. Go back to your clinic, kick some ass, and do what you do, and we appreciate you for being a part of the community. So keep kicking on. So essentially, on that note, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep kicking on. So this week we are doing we got live stream on Friday. So Friday's the Food Friday live stream. We're gonna have, and the way that I want to break this up is, remember we talked about doing a sweet treat that's healthy, a baked good that's somewhat healthy, and like a main meal. So we're gonna try to do 3 meals each Food Friday, because ideally I feel like then I can turn it into a free ebook that I can give back to the community if you comment recipe eventually in the next couple months. So we'll get it all together. We'll get this shit situated, and you just know that starting to pick it up a little bit more in regards to the page, the channel, and start really getting myself and getting the community some actionable advice. So keep kicking on, people, and I appreciate everybody for showing up. I'm going to save this live stream too, so if people want to go back to it and be like, oh, I just tuned in. But yeah, we went over a lot of stuff with the ankle, the hips, the back, some squats, and some different techniques that you could use to fix your stuff and get yourself together. So by all means, everyone, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, holler at me, let me know. If not, I will see you Friday. I'll let you know what we're going to be making here in the next couple days. I'll see you Friday, and then see you Sunday for our yoga class. And again, if you are trying to join, we only have a couple spots left and a couple days left to sign up for the 14-day challenge. Sign up with the link in the bio. Just fill out the type form so I can get your email address and send it over, get you an invite to the app. And so sign up for the 14-day challenge. We start September 1st. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Peace. Yeah, YouTube, how we doing? We still got people? Yes, we still got lovely faces in here. So I don't know if you heard about that because I haven't been on live on YouTube in a while. So we will be doing a free 14-day challenge if you are interested. And I encourage you to sign up, Eat, Train, Recover, and that's what we're going to be able to do. So sign up, go to my Instagram page at The Healthy Yinzer. I probably should have put some links in the description below, but I'm just not that tech savvy yet. We'll get there. But I'm sweating my ass off. I need to get myself into the shower. So I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.